Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd, and today is Wednesday, January 17th, 2023. And for some of you, this will be delayed when it's uploaded to YouTube, but for everybody else, it's what happens when you get a strike for mirroring a YouTube live video on your YouTube channel, and YouTube doesn't like the content, so they delete the video that I posted and gave me a strike. There you go. Goldbacks. Real money? Is this another attempt to domestically de-dollarize? No. But guess what? We're going to take a deep dive. So, put on your goggles, put on your little pincher nose, and let's dive in. And we're going to find out what's going on. So while I'm over here moving around, why don't y'all like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, leave a comment below, ask me a question, tell me your experience with goldbacks, or your experience with anything in the content of this video. If you need to reach me, the Fearless Floyd Show at yahoo.com. And I am the Fearless Floyd Show across every social media platform. And you're more than welcome to come visit my website, thefearlessfloydshowlive.com. I don't know why that did that, but we're going to go back over here. All right. This is an aged article because it's from April of last year. And this is investorsobserver.com. And I just picked one at random. Picked this one because it does have a lot of good information, a lot of educational information. So 23 U.S. states moved to reclaim gold and silver as legal U.S. tender. As the international reserve currency for better part of the century, global trust in the U.S. dollar has been virtually limitless. At any time in nearly any country, its role as the ultimate safe haven currency and the universally accepted standard of economic value has been beyond question. How the dollar became the one to rule them all. At the turn of the 20th century, when the dollar was becoming into its own, it was blessed by limited currency competition. The sterling of the British Empire had run its course during the Great War. Europe's leading powers razed each other's economic assets to the ground. You can thank the Rothschilds for that. The U.S., on the other hand, had plenty going for it. It assumed the role of global export hub with a state-of-the-art manufacturing infrastructure. The mass inflows of physical gold it received bestowed global reverence upon the Federal Reserve. The newly federalized Internal Revenue Service enjoyed access to a deep well of taxpayers maintaining robust dollar demand. And the unmatched depth of its bond markets catapulted the greenback to new heights. In more recent decades, a much darker element has also come to the forefront. David Graeber, anthropologist and noted author, wrote in his Debt, the First 5,000 Years, U.S. military predominance. No other government has ever had anything remotely like this sort of capability. In fact, the case could be well made that it is this very power that holds the entire world monetary system organized around the dollar together. That kind of makes sense. Global shifts. Despite the dollar's many strengths, no fiat currency has ever truly stood the test of time. Without exception, Federal Reserve or reserve fiat currencies have come, conquered, and then been displaced. Inevitably, political convenience trumps economic stewardship, resulting in the decline of reserve currency status. Most commonly, excessive issuance leads to accelerated devaluation and inflates away economic value. Disciplinary mechanisms that maintain the dollar strength were disregarded when it was divorced from silver and gold in 1964 and 1971, respectively. And that would be the Coin Act of 1964 and the removal of the gold standard by Nixon, the first by LBJ, the second by Nixon in 71 to remove us from the gold standard. Yet, for over 50 years, a completely free-floating greenback has held sway over global markets. However, this may be changing. In the decades since the GFC, interest rates hit rock bottom and money printing reached eye-watering levels. This situation was exacerbated during the global pandemic. Economic activity ground to a halt while the seemingly unlimited monetary stimulus was coupled with targeted fiscal policies and payroll protections, which fueled four-decade highs in inflation. To make matters worse, the weaponization of the dollar through SWIFT and the imposition of reams of sanctions forced several of its biggest consumers to desperately search for alternative avenues of exchange. At the global level, de-dollarization has certainly gathered significant momentum. The countries spearheading these efforts represent a growing share of global GDP, hold sizable commodity reserves, are united in their desire to sidestep the dollar and shield themselves from Fed policy shocks. China-Brazil trade has switched away from the dollar. Saudi Arabia offered to trade oil in alternative currencies, and accelerated central bank purchases of bullion are paving the way for a less significant role for the greenback. Saudi Arabia already did that. Moreover, the BRICS summit in August, BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. In August, actually August 17th in South Africa, is expected to birth a non-dollar, non-SWIFT payment mechanism that, if successful, could play a key role in the monetary landscape of the 21st century. All right. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you will know that I have shown the BRICS 100, I guess a brick note, 100 note, denomination note. Absolutely. They just came out with a gold brick coin. So there you go. Each of these countries is concerned by the prospect of sanctions either on themselves or on key partners, raging inflation, and deep erosion in U.S. bonds. The significance of precious metals. Gold and silver have themselves been money for thousands of years and are the most durable forms of money. They also do not suffer from counterparty risk, ensuring their value is relatively immune to the risks of the global financial markets. In a bid to relieve themselves from dollar dependence, central banks have continued to buy physical gold or repatriate the yellow metal from foreign vaults at a record pace. Mike Maloney, precious metals investor and noted author, stated in his excellent series, Hidden Secrets of Money, quote, "It is the ultimate money because there is nothing else even in the same league. It's divisible. It's permanent. It's a store of value. It's a unit of account. It's got everything you want out of money, but it doesn't go away and it can't be increased. That is what makes gold the most beautiful money of all. What more can you ask out of money?" Close quote. By being a hedge against inflation, precious metals protect against excesses such as unbridled spending by state authorities and outsized deficits. The trouble at home. While the dollar's clout appears to be declining overseas, several bills have also been introduced in nearly half of U.S. states to guard against the potential implosion of the greenback. In a conversation with physical precious metals investors Ronald Brandstetter on his YouTube channel, Ron's Basement, Pat Holland of the Missouri Freedom Initiative, a grassroots organization, noted that state governments have three key concerns in this regard. First, inflation continues to ravage household budgets and threatens access to essentials such as food and fuel. Secondly, in July of this year, the U.S. government is expected to roll out its central bank digital currency, CBDC, which it did not in July. Given the programmable nature, well, it did, but not to the public. Given the programmable nature of this instrument, Robert E. Wright, a senior research fellow at the American Institute for Economic Research, warns against excessive centralization of control over purchasing decisions of ordinary citizens. Wright adds that CBDCs may not qualify as money under the Constitution. Thirdly, with bonds bleeding over the past 2 years, an increasing number of states have found their pension funds are in dire straits. Ooh, not just the states. But that's a whole nother video. Although bond yields have been declining post the SVB crisis, at the time of writing, 10-year yields are up by 64.1 BPS in the past 12 months and approximately 2.7 higher since April 2020. In this environment, states are being forced to liquidate even larger amounts of their holdings to cover obligations, while liabilities continue to mount at an alarming rate. As a result, pension funds are seeing material losses in capital, a decline in income on the sale of bonds, increased credit risk, and higher chances of regulatory intervention. In 2022, according to Equable, an organization dedicated to retirement security, only 7 states and Washington, D.C. had a funding ratio of 1.0 or over for their public pension schemes. To boot, the sudden fragility of the banks and the risk of systematic escalation is driving greater urgency among the states to hedge their exposure to the dollar. More concerningly, with dollar demand slowing globally, and if the BRICS Plus are successful in their endeavor, the excess currency that has been circulating overseas is likely to make its way back to the U.S.A. Interested readers can access articles in the highlighted links discussing the views of well-known analysts such as Peter Schiff and Andy Schectman, who expect that the influx of such a volume of currency could spark a resurgence in inflation. What are states doing to protect themselves? With the alarming rise in the risk of dollar-denominated debt and the potential return of much higher inflation, individual states are now taking steps to shield themselves against a future featuring a dwindling dollar. The truth is that fiat currencies depend on the credibility of the issuer, and their robustness is a function of place and time. Once this credibility inevitability begins to decline, the currency loses its luster. Unlike fiat currencies, the value of gold and silver has never been extinguished. And in times of turmoil, such as during currency transitions, they tend to preserve their value far more effectively than other financial instruments. Today, grassroots organizations and sitting politicians are drawing upon constitutional expert Professor William Green's 2010 boilerplate draft of the Constitutional Tender Act to launch a movement to reclaim the right to recognize physical gold and silver as legal tender. Writing for the Sound Money Defense League, Stephen Gleason, president of Money Metals Exchange, bucketed state legislative efforts into 3 key categories. The first step towards mainstreaming recognition as legal tender is to eliminate sales tax from precious metals, which is now the case in 42 states. This is crucial because it eliminates needless transaction costs and unnecessary frictions which can hamper freedom of exchange. Moreover, sales or capital gains tax implies that gold or silver is a commodity and not money. Secondly, states are looking to establish depositories or precious metal reserves to act as hedge against runaway inflation and to boost pension funds. Thirdly, newly introduced bills are arguing for the removal of income tax on the sale of gold and silver. The legitimacy of such efforts would flow from Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution, which notes, and I quote, "No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant to any title of nobility." Close quote. This may sound like a radical idea, but as mentioned earlier, dollars were backed by silver and gold till not very long ago, and states are focusing on simply reinstating this recognition. In a widespread movement, local grassroots organizations and state lawmakers have introduced bills to initiate this process in at least 23 states, with legislatures of at least 10 states introducing their version of the bill in 2023 alone, including Montana, Missouri, Kansas, Oregon, Kentucky, and Wisconsin. And I'm not going to give this case study on Missouri, states with active legislative processes. U.S. states are wary of the possibility of the loss of the dollar's reserve currency status and the effect this may have on pension systems. The rout in Treasury's risk-free instruments that form the bedrock of the global economic system and the prospect of higher inflation have fueled urgency across legislatures. In a rare show of unity, several legislatures have independently filed such bills to at least start the process of recognition of precious metals as legal tender. In some cases, these have been met with virtually no opposition, such as in Tennessee, where the House voted 98-0 in favor. As of April 3rd, 2023, the following states have pending bills that are on the pathway to recognizing gold and silver as legal tender: Montana, Missouri, Kansas, Oregon, Kentucky, Wisconsin, Tennessee, Iowa, Mississippi, West Virginia, Minnesota, Vermont, Alaska, South Carolina, Idaho, Arkansas, Maine, New Jersey, Arizona, and of course, Texas did pass that. According to the 10th Amendment Center, Utah Legal Tender Act 2011 and the Wyoming Legal Tender Act 2018 already recognize gold and silver as legal tender. Legislatures from Wyoming attempted to amend and strengthen the existing act, but this failed in the House in March of 2023. Oklahoma also eliminated the tax on sales of precious metals in 2014, categorizing it as legal tender. In 2023, the state moved to mandate the establishment of the state-backed gold depository in the offices of the Treasury via Senate Bill 816, introduced by Senator Nathan Dahm, Republican. New source of demand. For gold investors, provisions that would mandate minimum precious metals holdings in the estate treasury could significantly boost demand for physical metals. For instance, Ron's Basement estimates that Missouri alone would need to purchase $9 million worth of bullion to meet 1% criteria laid out in the bill. With drives to establish state-backed precious metal depositories throughout the country, this could spur fresh momentum in the bull market for gold and silver. Much left. For states, this could also bring in revenues by providing state-protected vault services and allocated accounts for a fee, particularly to wealthy individuals. However, as always, the devil is in the details. If these bills were to become law and drive genuine demand, they would have to be passed with an emphasis on physical holdings and restrict dilution into paper gold. Interested readers can find more information on the dynamics between physical gold and physical silver in their paper variants in the highlighted links. Secondly, it is unclear if the mandated quantum of gold would be readily available, and severe shortages may end up forcing precious metals back towards investment status rather than as tools for purchase as intended by these bills. One thing is certain, the dollar is beginning to see challenges both abroad and at home. And this brings me into topic: domestic de-dollarization. Okay. Here, gold and silver legal tender states 2023, 12 U.S. states already accept gold and silver coins as legal tender, and more states have either tried to reintroduce gold and silver as currency or are in the process. Okay, here we go. The list includes U.S. states have already implemented the bill, and those in the process. We have Utah, Louisiana, West Virginia, Arizona, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Indiana, Missouri, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Wyoming. So, as I talk about the de-dollarization, definitely I'm talking about foreign de-dollarization overseas. But you've never heard me talk about domestic de-dollarization. All right. So in one of my videos that I posted, I was watching it, and it was about this place in Utah that is pretty much desolate. It's kind of like a one of those just dried up abandoned towns where, you know, there's one big landowner left that claims to own everything, and the mayor of the town. And it's so rural that there's no city services. There is no real city per se. There's definitely no law enforcement. There's no jail, court, etc. They pretty much handle everything out there in the wild, wild west, if you know what I mean. If you want a cop, call 911. It better be for a good reason, and it's going to take them about an hour to get there. That kind. So in this video, the guy was traveling around, and he stopped in this little store. I think it was in Utah, could have been Wyoming. And he used a currency I was unfamiliar with. I'd never even heard about it. And it's a goldback. So what is a goldback? This is a goldback. All right. Our goal: to promote the use of inflation-proof currency to protect the spending power of families and individuals at any income level. For the first time, individuals can spend physical gold on small items like a smoothie or large purchases like a home remodel. The goldback, apparently is a registered trademark, trade name, solves the 2,600-year small coin problem by allowing physical gold to be used for any size transaction. One goldback contains 1/1000th of an ounce of 24-karat gold. Our 50 goldback contains 50 times that 1/20th of an ounce. In August 2019, we released the first goldbacks, the 1 and the 5 of our Utah series, with the 10, 25, and 50 denominations following by year end. Producing the goldback relies on 5th generation vacuum deposition technology. Designs are printed on a sheet of polymer that is then bombarded with the precise amount of atomized gold particles in a vacuum chamber. This 24-karat gold is then sealed inside a second protective barrier of polymer, creating a beautiful textured negative image. We sell goldbacks worldwide through distributors listed here. Milestones. In 2019, the company launched story. Utah Goldbacks released 500,000 Goldbacks produced in 2019. And it doesn't tell you what denominations there were. 2020, new Nevada and New Hampshire Goldback series released. The Goldback wallet became available. In 2020, 1.6 million Goldbacks produced. 2021, 6 million Goldbacks produced. Over 450,000 people own at least one goldback. 2021. 2022, 1 million goldbacks sold in March. That's 1 month. New Wyoming Goldback series in production. The Goldback, the world's first physical gold designed for small and large transactions. One goldback, Utah Goldback. So this is one of the companies that do sell it, and this is actually the front company for Goldback, the actual manufacturer. And what I mean by front company, this is their retail arm of the business. And as you see, you can buy these. So you get basically $1 is $3.86. Now, what does that number look familiar with? Isn't that kind of around what we're looking for the Iraqi dinar to revalue at? Is that a coincidence? I'm just saying. Never know. Anyway, this is the South Dakota series. And this is the Wyoming series. This is the Utah series. Go next. And we have the Nevada series, the New Hampshire series, and Wyoming Alpha Series PM. These are, I guess, graded. I guess everything's collectible. And they have a 1 ounce gold eagle for 21.2850, 1 ounce gold buffalo for 21.2850, 1 ounce silver eagle for 29.27. And then here's your Goldback wallet. And here's a 2019 Utah Goldback frame set, a red graded silverback. And I didn't know there was a such thing as a silverback. So we're learning. Silver Dragons, limited edition collectible. 1,001 of 100,000. I'm learning just like you are, folks. 1/1000th troy ounce pure silver, not legal tender, U.S. patent. So I guess these are just collectibles with real silver since they're not legal tender. Collectibles. See what they have in collectibles. Okay, back to the same thing. See what Wikipedia has to say about them. The Goldback is a family of local currencies marketed in 5 U.S. states and launched by Goldback Inc. in Utah in 2019. Goldbacks contain a thin layer of gold with a polymer coating. Goldbacks are shaped like regular currency notes but contain 24 karat gold. The gold is contained between two layers of clear polyester, which add artistic elements to the fractional gold bullion they contain. The term Goldback refers to each unit the currency each unit of the currency and is 1/1000th of an ounce of pure gold. It actually should have a little registered trademark by it right there and there, everywhere in here. The Goldbacks are issued in denominations of 1, 5, 10, 25, and 50, each containing proportionally larger amounts of gold. The notes are minted by Valerium, a private mint. Valerium uses a vacuum disposition process to fuse gold together into thin sheets encased in plastic film designed to hold the gold. More than 20 million worth of Goldbacks have been manufactured and circulated, although an up-to-date market cap is not published. While it is sold as a local currency, see below, only in 4 regions, they have been more broadly purchased as a gold product uh, or for their collector's value. The Utah Goldback was launched in 2019. Reported use, KSL 5 TV, the NBC affiliate of Salt Lake City, reported a small number of local businesses accepting using Goldbacks for everyday transactions. In the video that I watched, that particular store, that's all they dealt with was Goldbacks. They didn't even deal with dollars. They didn't want dollars. So kind of what I see here is a greater acceptance in rural areas versus more populous cities, big cities. But this is coming. Um, this goes into the local legislation. What we talked about, the tender acts. But you see, states are taking their own action, and the reason is because these pension funds They're done. Even on, municipal pension funds, they're done. Y'all are going to get a rude awakening here pretty soon. When the bubble pops. Oh my God. We're gonna hear y'all scream, and it's not gonna be pretty. So I hope you learned something. God did. Learned about greenbacks, and that's the domestic de-dollarization of the U.S. dollar, okay, which is a Federal Reserve note. So understand, or comprehend that the U.S. dollar currently circulating is a Federal Reserve note. Okay, the Federal Reserve Bank is an independently owned multinational cartel of banks, mainly operated by the Rothschild family, as well as the Morgan family, Harriman's, Warburg. I can give you the whole list, but we'll just leave it at that. The only affiliation with the federal government is the U.S. president gets to appoint the chairman over the Federal Reserve. Other than that, the United States of America borrows money from the Federal Reserve Bank and has to pay the Federal Reserve Bank back at interest. And when the federal government, United States of America, borrows money from the Federal Reserve Bank, the Federal Reserve Bank gives the United States Treasury Printing Office authorization to print X amount of denominations of X amount of currency. And they've just been printing like, there's no tomorrow. And all those bills are coming home to roost. And people in the United States already see the writing on the wall. The states, the legislature are seeing the writing on the wall. The dollar is going to eventually collapse. It may not happen tonight, tomorrow, next week, next year, this decade, but it's coming. The strength of the U.S. dollar is over. The full faith and credit of the United States of America has been sullied. Hopefully, we can get Donald Trump back in here and we can turn this thing around. So look, I'm not a Republican by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not affiliated with any political party, but the craziness, the insanity, the looniness of the Democrats, the liberals have no choice. I can't go to all these people out here in the private because y'all ain't running nothing, right? Assemblies aren't running anything. What do we have left? Infiltrate the party, change from within. Come join me. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, leave a comment below. Tell me how you really feel. I hope you learned something about the de-dollarization of the Federal Reserve note. Because all it is, it's a promise to pay. It's an IOU. Okay? Issued by the United States of America for full faith and credit. But is there any faith left in the United States of America? Is there any credit left in the United States of America? We can thank the Bidens for that. Oh, God. I'm just addressing the puppet. We need to address the puppet masters. That'd be the Clintons and the Obamas. Y'all have a nice day, folks. I'll catch you on the next video.